Hey guys, welcome. So in this video, I'll be talking about the cadet programs that are available to us. There are so many of them out there and you can easily do a Google search. So I'm not going to be going into details about each one, but I just want to share my thoughts and what I've seen when it comes to cadet programs. I've seen a lot of people go through these programs and they've been successful. And I've seen some people that have gone through it and unsuccessful as well. So my goal is just to share with you some tips that you should take away when it comes to cadet programs. If you're new on my channel, my name is Stephen Ojo, and on this channel we talk about aviation, and mostly we focus on how you can get from zero to the airlines, and hopefully that's your goal. So if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, and of course if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming again. So in this one, my goal is to focus on these cadet programs that are out there. There's so many, like I mentioned. I have a few in front of me right now. And yeah, online, you can go on Google, just search for cadet programs. You see from a lot of regionals these days. Now, this is interesting because back, 6 years ago, cadet programs were not really a thing. And that was because, there were a lot of pilots available and the jobs were somewhat limited. It started to pick up in the last 4 years, and the job opportunities started increasing. And of course, there weren't enough pilots to fill positions. So of course, these regionals especially started to come up with cadet programs. It's a way to get a student pilot that is, going through the training program, hire them while they are still in training, and of course, take them on board when they are done with their training. It's not a bad deal. It's a very good plan. But what are the consequences, or what are the downsides, and what are the upsides as well, the benefits and the pros and cons of cadet programs? So the first thing that I would like to mention to you is, generally, cadet programs will have a requirement. The requirements will generally be, of course, you have to be able to work in the United States, speak, write, and understand English language. These are basic things that any job in the United States will require. But when it comes to pilots, some of them do have you to require that you have at least a private pilot. Some of them require that you have at least an instrument rating and maybe commercial. And some of them do require that you're a CFI. So it all depends on the airline. But the benefit to this is that, or any cadet program, is that first of all, you're somewhat guaranteed of a job, because once you are able to get all the qualifications that they require, get all the necessary ratings that they require, then you know that you have a job that you're starting. So there's no waiting period. All right. Now, the one downside, which I'm going to go, back and forth, the pros and the cons, I'm going to be mentioning that as I go along. The con to some of this cadet program is that they often require that you sign an agreement to be with them for some time. And that could be very limiting, especially when their pay isn't as competitive. So that's something you need to watch out for when you are considering joining any cadet program out there. Now, some of us are international students or foreigners, or we don't have the requirement to even get into some of these cadet programs, and that can always be a disadvantage to foreigners, like I was at some point. So one of the things that you also want to make sure is that before you get into these cadet programs, see if they are able to offer offer some support or incentive for you if you're an international student, because most of them, actually almost all of the ones I've seen, they would require that you have your permanent residency or be a US citizen, and that is also something that can be very limiting when it comes to cadet programs. On the pros of cadet programs, they often offer you money towards training. So they will often give you some support, and sometimes it can go in upwards of $10,000 towards your training in order to complete a program. Some of them would offer sponsoring your ATP, CTP conversion programs. Some of them will offer, taking on your CFI and so forth. The other thing that you consider important when it comes to cadet programs is that the ability to transition, which is a benefit, is the ability to transition from that flight training environment into the world of airlines. For example, one of the things that they will often emphasize is that you should be able to brief and approach. You should learn using Jefferson plates. These are all good things. Why? Because once you are able to learn these things while you're in training, like, reading a Jefferson plate, briefing and approach the way the airline would want you, what will happen is that by the time you get into training and becoming a first officer with these airlines, your training becomes much easier. You already know exactly what to expect, and there are no surprises. Okay. The other benefit of using the cadet program is that you already have this internal reference. Okay, so for example, as you're going through your training, the hour requirements, the milestones that you need to reach, you already have someone at the airline that is pretty much holding your hand, showing you the way to go. That is very important. It's almost like mentoring. Okay, this is very important, especially when you have someone in that airline that you're with, that you are signed up with, because every requirement will be met. And that way, once you're done with your training program and you get on with this airline, you shouldn't have any problems, because someone has already showed you the ways, the paths, and make sure that all the requirements that you need are met. And you won't even have any issues transitioning into the airline, because again, you have this mentor that you can always fall back on every time. So it's always very important to go through, to have a mentor for sure in that airline. Another pro that a lot of people don't consider is the benefit that some of these airlines offer to their cadets. For example, they can offer flight benefits, which means even as a cadet, you can start flying using that benefit to travel. That's a very good thing, considering you are not even working for the airline yet, but it's a benefit that they offer and they bear the cost for that. And that's why, if you look into these programs, look at ones that really favors your dreams, your goals, of course, but also look at the benefits that they offer. See how those benefits can actually help to improve your life, your quality of life at the moment. And one thing to always watch out for is the long-term opportunities that these airlines offer. For example, some of them do offer flow programs to major airlines. That is something that is beneficial that a lot of cadet programs don't offer, by the way. Not a lot of cadet programs offer that. And some airlines will offer you, to flow in like 6 years or 4 years. It all depends. Consider those things in your long-term goal, so that way, once you get on with a regional, you know that you have the clear path to the future, the destination that you're looking for, and hopefully it works out. Of course, there are no guarantees that everything will continue, as expected, but at least there's a plan in place that you can follow. And that's something that I always encourage people to look out for. Now, the big part that I want to emphasize is the agreement that you sign up with these airlines. You need to remember that if the sign-up agreement, or like the commitment that you make to this airline, is considered too long, it could end up slowing you down. All right, your ability to move around and also grow in your career. That's something that you need to consider. You don't want something that will slow you down in your path to growth. Okay, so look at those commitments. Make sure that it suits your time frame, and hopefully it doesn't slow you down during that time. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that, and I hope that you found some value in this video. If you have, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.